Hi everyone, hi, I'm Dr. John, and the title of this video is called the 3-Minute Emergency Meditation. So let's talk about the emergency meditation. Why would you use it? Let's just say that you're in conflict, usually a conflict with another person or a group of people. You could be in a business meeting, it could be with your children or child, it could be with your partner, it could be with your friend, your neighbor, or somebody you don't know. But you're in conflict, and within this conflict, you recognize that you would really like it to end in a good way. You would like it for you to be happy and for the other person to be happy, so that they get what they want and you get what you want. And ultimately, that's your end goal. But at the moment, you'll catch yourself in a limited state. So let me explain what limited states are. In a limited state, a limited mind state, is when your mind is in a state of, let's say, fear or anger or shame or regret or judgment. It's in these states that your mind really isn't capable of formulating solutions or really growing in any way. It's focused on survival, and your world becomes this big. So it's in these limited states you have very little capacity to expand, and you certainly have a very small capacity to be able to understand the other person's position. So what we would like to do is shift you from what's called a limited state to a limitless state. So a limitless state in your mind would be like a state like gratitude or appreciation or love or joy, happiness, bliss. These are all limitless states. And in a limitless state, you have the capacity to expand, and quite quickly. Not only that, you can actually understand or at least feel the other person's world. And when you can feel or understand the other person's world, they feel that. And then obviously if you're in conflict, right, there's a higher likelihood that there's going to be some resolution, or at least there'll be a middle ground. So being in a limitless state obviously is more advantageous, and it feels better for everybody. So how do we get there? Well, it's very easy. There's only 6 steps, and I'm going to walk you through them. So let's start now. Step 1, recognize that you're in a limited state. You're in conflict. Recognize whatever state that is. You think to yourself, this is not going the way I wanted it to go. It must be in a limited state. So when you recognize that, you have to go through and finish step 1. Step 1 is to recognize that you're in this limited state and excuse yourself from the situation. You have to remove yourself from the conflict or the situation so that you can go work on this. So get up, bathroom break, whatever it might be for you. You forgot something in your car. Go to a place where you can just sit or stand quietly, and all you need is 3 minutes. So once you've excused yourself, it's time to move on to step 2. You're in a quieter place, or at least a place where you can be still. You can close your eyes. It doesn't matter if you have to sit or you can be standing. It doesn't make a difference either way. Just close your eyes and do 3 conscious breaths. So in another video, we discussed what a conscious breath was, and it's simply taking a breath in and saying in your mind, I am inhaling now, and then taking a breath out and saying in your mind, I'm exhaling now. Inhaling now, exhaling now. And you do it 3 times, using your belly to breathe and keep your exhales longer than your inhales. That's step number 2. Time to move on to step number 3. Once you finish those 3 conscious breaths, you're more connected. And in step 3, you just go back to that conflict and recognize what were the limited states that you experienced. Was I angry, or did I have fear? Was it judgment? Was it regret? Was I blaming? Was it a combination of more than one? You just have to recognize what those states were. Once you've connected with what those states were, it's time to move on to part number 4. Now, part number 4 is to simply visualize or imagine a flame in the front of your head. And once you imagine this flame at the front of your head, it could be a candle flame, sort of like any color, flickering or steady, still, battery powered, whatever it is for you that you can visualize. Once you have that picture, let's move into step 5. Step 5 is to allow that to melt into your mind. So you see it physically with your eyes closed, the flame entering in through the skin, passing through the skull, coming in through the center of the head, so it meets in the middle. Okay, if I was to draw like lines to meet in the center, it meets in the center of your head. I'll explain why this is working for you. And then, before we put down the number where this meditation is going to happen in this video, so that you can go back and just skip straight to that in the future. So step 5 is imagine it going into the head. Once you have it there and it's steady in its space, step number 6, take a deep breath in, and as you're breathing in, open your eyes. On your exhale, get bearings for where you are, stand up, just put a big, ginormous, crazy smile on your face, and go back to that situation in a new mind space, in a new headspace, with a new insights. And then you can come back into that space in a limitless mind space, in a limitless mind state. And you can have new sensations and new feelings. So let me help you understand why this works the way it works. See, meditation isn't all hocus pocus and spiritual. There's a lot of science to meditation. And so the science of this particular meditation is that when we're in limited mind spaces, the back of your head, or the limbic part of your mind, is the most active. And this is what we call the reptilian portion of your mind, and it's the one that's active in what we call the fight or flight response. So you're being chased by a tiger down the road, and that part of your mind is active and it's firing, and it's all about survival, and it's all about you. Your world is this big, and you have generally one focus. And whatever that focus is, it's usually you're running or you're fighting, right? It's very simple. And the kind of emotional states that are fed from that area, or when you're in these emotional states, that area is the most active. Fear, regret, shame, anger, judgment, blame, all those types of thoughts or feelings are all being perpetuated from that part of your brain in the back. Now, what about all those other cool feelings like love and gratitude and appreciation and joy and bliss and happiness? Where do they come from? Well, they don't generally come from this part of the brain. Those feelings come from the prefrontal cortex, so the center part of the head. And so when someone's having an extreme sensation of gratitude, you see very little activity in the back of the head. So if we're doing a monitor with like lots of leads on your brain and we're watching it on a computer, there's very little activity in the back, and there's tons of activity in the front, actually in the midbrain. And when you're inside this midbrain, you're going to have the capacity to have more of those feelings. So think about it. If you're in conflict, what part of the brain do you want to be in? Now, if you're fighting for your life with swords and guns and whatever it is, maybe you do want to be in the survival mode. But we're not really talking about that, are we? We're talking about a conflict that you want to resolve. We're talking about you're in a situation where you would like to see a common resolution occur. And you actually, in the heart of you want to see both people, yourself and the other person, to leave happy. That's not swords and guns. This is something deeper. And in order to get there, you've got to work from a different part of the brain. So this meditation moves your energy and makes your midbrain more active. So there's a saying, and it goes like this: where focus goes, energy flows. So whatever you're focusing on, you're going to draw energy to that area. And as soon as that energy activates the area, those things that reside in the area will become more active. So the types of thoughts and feelings that reside in the midbrain are the ones of love and compassion and empathy and joy and happiness and appreciation, and all those are occurring from the midbrain. While if you're focused on the back of your head, that's all reaction, reptilian types of thoughts and feelings. I'm running for my life, I'm trying to survive, and the only one that matters is me. Okay, so that doesn't usually work in conflicts, especially the ones that you want to resolve. So let's go into that meditation.
Let's begin the 3-minute emergency practice, also called the Serene mind practice. Step 1 was to excuse yourself from whatever situation you were in that was causing you conflict. Take a break. Move to a place where you can sit still, or at least keep your body still. Whether you're sitting or standing makes no difference. Once you've found this place, let's move on to step 2. Take 3 conscious breaths. First, while you inhale, say silently to yourself, "I'm inhaling now." When you exhale, silently to yourself, "I am exhaling now." Inhale, inhaling now. Exhale. Exhaling now. Inhale. I am inhaling now. Exhale. I am exhaling now. Inhale. I am inhaling now. Exhale. I am exhaling now. Step 3. Recognize the limited emotional state that you had moved into. Was it fear, stress, anger, shame, regret, frustration, judgment? Recognize that state for what it was. It could have been more than one, or just one on its own. Step 4. Bring your attention to your third eye and visualize the flame of a candle. The flame could be any color, it could be steady or flickering. But visualize the flame of a candle right in front of your skin of your forehead, between the two eyes. Step 5. Visualize, imagine and feel that flame moving into the middle of your brain, slowly, steadily penetrating through the front skin, into the bone, through the bone, into your brain, moving into the center of your head. Be still with this. Feel the flame on the inside, comforting, solid, your foundation. Take a deep breath in, and as you inhale, slowly begin to open your eyes. Bring yourself back to a state of mindfulness and awake. And step 6, go back to the situation that you excused yourself from with a smile on your face, feeling renewed and knowing that your mind is moving from a different place. Your mind is active from the center, from the midbrain, from the frontal cortex, where all the different emotions that you can grow from exist and begin from. Love and compassion, empathy, happiness and joy, confidence, and enjoy this new mind state.